to the side that we have Tors Anderson on. She's number 1. Not as much of a self-draw. It doesn't look like they're setting up for her. And then we have Lax Drew on the left-hand side here. We'll see how this comes out, and it's going to be a really good match. I'm really looking forward to this.
Well, these are two teams that know each other very well, don't they? Because they play so much against each other through the years. So, and yet there are a lot of young players out here as well.
Okay, draw goes to Scotland, and it looks like we have a really good check. Okay, England possession. England looks to be moving the ball, getting a good wrap all the way around. And then Liv looked to take a shot there. Great goal, Liv Wimpenny to Tors Anderson. Great assist.
Well, I think that's the kind of shot we're going to see a lot more of in the sixes format because of the 30-second shot clock. A lot of sort of quick sticks and compact shooting. Obviously, all the teams trying to work it in for good shot angles to get high percentage shots if they can, but we are seeing more shots that are at poor shooting angles.
And that does that have anything to do with the change in the rule from being in shooting space to not having shooting space in this format?
I think that's partly it, and I think it's also just the shot clock is such a compelling part of the game.
Exactly.
And speaking of shot clock, that was shot clock that just went off for Scotland, so England back in possession here.
Oh, a little behind the back pass there from Liv Wimpenny to, okay, we're getting into it down here.
Scotland goalie Emma Walkup fighting for possession behind. Didn't quite get there.
Tors Anderson looking for a pass, a nice feed inside. We've got Lax Drew here, great driver, and a shot clock violation again, both teams here.
And this is part of the learnings of the new format, isn't it? Of getting that the spidey sense of how long 30 seconds is.
And
the
what
players are learning.
And what 30 seconds looks like when you're running full speed. We've got Katie Greenwood, otherwise known as KG, with a pass up to Lax Drew here. Oh, beautiful feed. Liv pulling it back out, trying to get that pass off. Great defense by Scotland right there. Number 10, Zoe Dixon. Great save right there by the goalie, number 1. Just Emma looking like she was in really good position there. Scotland looking to take that opportunity and does not put that in the back of the net.
Yeah, good chance there for Scotland. Heather McRae came up with the ball, fed it up to Chess Gray, who's just running off now for a sub. She had a good look at the goal, just didn't get there.
And what you can see is that England hasn't subbed yet. So looking to see what that looks like in terms of playing time and minutes, and how Scotland decides to take advantage of that.
All right. So Scotland left Jenny Ayton well upfield, unmarked. Kitty Greenwood from England stepped out on her as the goalie and marked her. And that's the two of them going at it on the sidelines there.
Oh, goalie's out of the cage here. Looks like that could have been an opportunity. Nice save.
Jenny Ayton to Hannah Grant with a good look.
And for those listening, you have a Scotland coach and an England coach who are commentating, so you'll probably get two different opinions on good shot, good save.
Out of bounds from Scotland. England ball.
Oh, out of bounds from...
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Got an overturn there.
Well, I think both teams need to settle down a little bit here, don't they, Jana? They're really feeding into high pressure, not being as patient as they might be. Here's a fast break opportunity for England. Tors Anderson, high to high.
You're exactly right, Dave. I think that once the nerves kind of settle down, this is some of the first caps that some of these the players are going to have here, and I think when that settles a little bit, we'll start to see a little bit more passing, a little bit more moving the ball around, and really working some of the picks some of the idea. Ooh, nice back check right there from Liv Wimpenny. And a goal.
It's a good goal there from Georgie Greenwood.
There we go.
So, Liv Wimpenny has been posting up quite a bit.
She has,
yeah, and I think that's, again, as we get into the tactics of sixes, posting is certainly one of the tactics to get a high percentage look. It's Heather McRae on the ball there.
Freya Savage right here trying to get that ground ball pickup. Good defense, I think. That's one of the things you're going to see also is how does the defense settle in here, and how do they stand that drive up? How do they stop that drive when it's going to be pretty consistent? I think we're going to see, is the drive going to come from the top? Is the drive going to come from the side? You can see some goalie pressure happening here too, and I think that's going to be something that teams try out.
So Jenny Ayton, who is pressuring the goalie, is staying upfield, so the goalie is marking her. But that is one of the tactics that some teams are employing.
A little bit of a cherry pick type situation going on.
Right. England electing not to send a player back to mark her, but letting the goalie take her.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice save from Emma Walkup.
And there's that cherry pick. There it is. It's got to be a 40-yard pass right there.
Scotland has numbers.
Oh,
nice finish on the bounce shot.
Great bounce shot right there.
It's Carolyn Getley on the score. England back in towards Anderson. Misdirected pass.
Way to chase that down. I think that's a piece of it. We're going to have to make sure that as play continues, maybe some of the passes get a little bit tighter, a little bit cleaned up more. Ooh. Freya recovering here.
Towards Anderson to Liv Wimpenny.
That low post seems to be pretty open for England pretty consistently. I wonder if in the second quarter here, if Scotland's going to take a note of that.
Oh, lovely finish from Jenny Ayton.
Beautiful shot.
Little rocker dodge. So less than a minute left, 5-2 to England. I don't know about you, Janet, but I feel like the quarters move very quickly in sixes.
It really does. It's also going to be, and I don't know if you've noticed, England's had very few subs. They're really taking a moment to let the players settle and see what comes out of that. And then when you're looking at how Scotland's moving, Scotland is really taking the time to get to the offensive side of the field, settle down a little bit. Not so much of the quick passing that England's trying to pass off here.
So about 20 seconds left. It is actually 5-3 to England. England in possession, looking for the last look at goal here.
Really going to want to make this a smart play. There's about 8 seconds left here. And Scotland, you can see, Scotland's not really pressuring out when England's... Ooh, and there it is.
And that's the horn. I'm not sure what happened there. We heard the horn to finish the first quarter, but they seem to be playing on.
Not sure if we missed something, but there's another 2 minutes on the clock. We will ask some questions.
And the clock is not running.
It looks like the table here is trying to, there we go.
Okay. They just, nobody on the pitch knew the quarter was over. All right, so that wraps up the first quarter, 5-3 to England. It is a 2-minute break between quarters. Jana, you're a coach, as am I. 2 minutes isn't a lot of time to get anything done in a meeting, is it?
I mean, I think that when the coaches, it's interesting. Sixes doesn't have as much coaching as you would see in tens, so you're going to see a little bit of a couple of notes. You'll probably see a defensive idea coming out. You'll see maybe somebody's talking to the goalkeeper about just a quick adjustment, possibly. And I think you get maybe 1 or 2 comments to address anything that you see on the attacking end. But no, 2 minutes really isn't a lot of time. You're not coaching during sixes as much as you are in trying to get these adjustments right in this last 2 minutes between quarters.
Well, I think both coaches would agree it was a bit of a sloppy half in terms of turnovers, possessions, errant passes. So I think they do definitely need to clean up the game. Okay, we're set to get up for the second half. England have stepped out. Here comes Scotland. The teams will trade sides. Liv Wimpany setting up for the draw.
And again, I don't think we're going to see a self-draw here. I'm pretty interested to see how Liv makes the adjustment from the first quarter to the second here.
Yeah, Zoe Dixon stepping up for the draw for Scotland.
And again, it looks like they're pretty heavy on one side here. Scotland coming up with the possession here. Knocked down. But definitely leaving that player behind. Scotland making a good decision, pulling the ball out, making sure that they maintain control and let the attack settle in. Good ball movement, too. So you can already see some pretty quick adjustments, Dave, that Scotland took in that 2 minute between the quarters here.
There's Chesgrave with the ball up top. Nice finish.
Great finish. Offside stick.
So Chesgrave is one of those interesting players who, as she adapts to the Sixes game, she was traditionally traditionally a crease attacker in the 10v10 game, which isn't featured quite so much. That was a goal from England there.
Great pass to the inside. Emma Oakley to Alex Drew as Alex was clearing and coming right into the middle of the cage. Save Katie Greenwood coming up strong, and that quick clear is really going to be an interesting format, almost kind of like the make it take it basketball. Drew shooting right into the goalie, and Emma Oakley just really taking that right out of the air. Emma Brown putting it in the back of the net. It's going to be the quick movement, the ball movement, and how defense really finds a way to move the ball around or to watch the ball, how quick it moves, and how they're going to make those adjustments. Does somebody fall into a zone? Do you stay in this man-to-man here or woman-to-woman defense, and what that looks like?
Well, I agree with you. I think teams that want to play a very fast-paced game, it's a bit risky. Actually, here's Jenny Ayton.
Yeah, that cherry pick red.
Nice fake and finish. But it's higher risk, isn't it, to push the ball up the field quickly? And we've seen some turnovers even in this second quarter already of trying to push it up too quickly and having a turnover. However, if you dawdle with the ball, then you're playing with the shot clock. So that's just one of the things that teams have to work out. Individuals have to be better with their stick skills in transition than perhaps in the 10s game.
Do you think that because of that 30-second shot clock and how... Ooh. We're gonna make sure she's
that
okay
shot
here.
Is so that results in a straight red. So she's removed from the game based on that. If you take a shot that strikes another player above the knees,
I think it is
above the knees,
yeah.
Then that is a straight red. And so that was Liv Wimpany, wasn't it?
That was Liv.
Won't see the pitch for the rest of the match.
Now, is she out for this game and the next game? Or
no, it's
just
this.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
It's a good clarification. But so with some of the adjustments that you're saying, I noticed some of the players are wearing goggles, some of the players aren't. What do you think any adjustments that we'll see from shots like that having a higher potential to occur?
Yeah, and what you're kind of referring to is that there is no longer shooting space in the women's game, and so a defender is allowed to stand in front of a shooting attacker. It is.
It's
from Charlie Berquist there.
It's a little dangerous. Could be a strategic move in some cases, but I'm not sure that's a risk anybody's really willing to take.
Yeah, well, the way the rule's written is that it's the shooter. Here's Heather McRae on the push here. Oh, shot into the open goal. Katie Greenwood stepped out of goal, I think, to help mark and left the goal open. Heather McRae saw it and put the ball in.
And that's just going to be England settling down, making sure that they're communicating. I'm not sure that Katie Greenwood actually knew that there was another defender there who could make that pickup of the defender, or of the attacker as a defender.
So about 3:45 left in the second quarter. I believe England have called a timeout. And we have a score of 7-6. England 7, Scotland 6.
How quick did that turn? Scotland really taking the second quarter here to take a moment and settle down on the attack and really convert some of these opportunities.
I think for both teams, again, it's one of the things the coaches want to talk about. The finishing hasn't been great. You've been sort of, the goalie stats are looking really good, and the goalies are playing well, but, they're sort of being hit.
In the chest protector a little bit.
We're hitting the
when you
stick.
hit somebody in the hands.
We make it easy. So
make them work for it is what you're saying.
Yeah, but as we've gotten a little further into the match here, nerves have settled down. A little more shake and bake, a little fake and finish, changing levels.
And I also think, I wonder if Phil called that timeout and said, hey, settle down. Let's make a good possession. Let's make it worth it. Get the good, clean pass. And that's what you're going to see in these 30-second shot clocks is when you're making a pass, it's going to have to be clean and crisp, and it's going to not have the ability or the opportunity to hit a stick and drop to the ground for a contended ball.
Yeah. So England maintains possession off their timeout.
It's a great job right there on not forcing, on Ella not forcing what potentially would have been a poor angle for a shot. And I'm also wondering how teams are going to make those adjustments. Are you going to pull the ball out, or are some of these teams really going to force those off-angle shots?
Yeah, and this is something that we've seen as we've watched some of the Sixes competition, that really the two-man, three-man game is where you're going to find opportunities on attack, and yet we find some players kind of doing 1v everybody, and that's just not working.
Emma Oakley right there, trying to make that off-angle shot conversion for herself. There were two defenders there, so I think that's what you're going to see. Like, you're talking about that two-man game. It's a box lacrosse movement, and you're also going to have to see as the attacking team, making sure you're not getting in each other's way. There's only 5 on a side, 6 plus the goalie. If you're not paying attention and you're cutting through, that is a very clean opportunity that you really could be in the way of.
Charlie Bergquist with the finish off the feed.
Nice little draw and dump.
Just want to acknowledge Anna Neville's goal there from England. The quick stick was so quick, it was like she barely touched the ball. And this goes to what I'm saying about the fact that the shooting is going to be quicker, more compact. You're not really winding up and taking power shots unless you're really getting close to the end of the shot clock and need to do that.
Okay, another timeout by England here with 2 minutes left in the second.
We've got a score of England 8, Scotland 7. So Phil's obviously concerned about something that he wants to talk through. He's drawing in the air, so he's mapping out something.
And you can see Scotland looks a little bit more relaxed in this moment, and they're really converting on some of these quick goals. They have good ball movement from the top, getting open down on the low end of the corners here, and doing that feed to the inside is really clean. England needs to take a minute, take a step back, and really understand that these passes don't have to be forced, and the shots don't have to be forced, and could probably also clean up the drive a little bit.
Also, this England squad is a mixture of experienced players and some younger players they brought along, whereas the Scotland team is more or less they're stronger players. So it's not unusual for Phil to want to kind of talk to everybody and coach up the younger ones and let them see where they're getting it wrong, perhaps.
Exactly. Make them realize some of those opportunities. We've got a shot clock violation. Yeah.
Charlie Bergquist bringing up the wing here.
Emma Oakley trailing on that. It's going to be a turnover. Katie Greenwood back here
So Scotland opting to not pressure the transition at all. And again, this is one of these tactical decisions that coaches are really thinking about. How much do you want to pressurize in the middle? Do you want to take that risk of not getting back? Or do you just want to drop in and have a settled defense?
And it looks like so far that has kind of been working for them. Settle in, make sure that you're talking who's your woman, who's your girl, and defend really cleanly. And we'll see if England decides to make that same move and kind of slow down on the transitional ride here.
Unlucky there, Hannah Whiteley lost the ball in the sun. So it was turnover to England. 9-7 to England at the minute with less than a minute in the first half.
You're probably going to see a little bit of forcing this, probably from Scotland is my anticipation. Scotland probably knows that there's 35 seconds on the clock, 20 seconds left on the shot clock. And how is this going to, and another draw and dump.
Oh, Hannah Grant cleaning up the garbage. She fed into Suze Oliphant. Ball went to ground. She's picked it up and finished.
What you saw there, if you were catching the top side of the screen, England running 2 subs in, 2 subs out at the same time. And I think some of it also is a little bit of a box mentality, right? How are you taking those angles? Are you getting ahead of the ball?
8 seconds left. Susie Oliphant on the break here. 3 seconds. Oh, just off the post, out of bounds. That should be the first half.
Still not the first half?
Again, the clock should have stopped there.
Yeah, they're going to have to blow that again or give England a chance to score.
They've sent in word that's the end of the first half. I think something's happening with the clock or the
horn,
the timing
maybe.
Or something. The horn's not working.
They might need to start sending somebody on the field to trail the referee here to let him know.
All right, Jana, that's the first half of a big weekend of lacrosse. What are your takeaways in the first half?
Well, Scotland looked fantastic. I think that as Scotland decided that they weren't going to make that midfield pressure, I think that was a pretty clear-cut call that they made, and a choice that has paid off. It's a 9-8 game here, and they're giving themselves that moment to get into the defensive position and really kind of create a hold that looks that it's throwing England off their game a little bit. They're looking for those draw and dumps and the quick passes, and because Scotland has already settled in, it's just not there for them right now.
Yeah, the England squad is skilled enough that if you do pressurize out in the midfield on them and one person gets beat, then your number's down. Mm-hmm. So Scotland perhaps wisely dropping in, and by the same token, England pressuring out a little bit on Scotland being skilled enough to break that down on a couple of those goals.
Mm-hmm. And I think you're going to see England start to pick up that draw and dump, and it'll clean itself up here in the second half. But at the same time, England is really taking advantage of that quick pass to the inside. You saw Liv Wimpenny setting up right on top of the goalie, and that seems to be consistently open for England as well.
I would say that the Scotland defense is quite compressed, isn't it? It's quite dropped in front of the goal, and that seems to be effective because England is having a little bit of trouble. They're posting somebody in there, which sort of inherently brings a defender into that space.
There's not a lot of space.
Yeah, not a lot of space. Yeah, and Scotland has been a little better at sort of pulling them out and finding a little bit of space in the middle. So I'm curious as they think about changing tactics, whether they might try to open things up a little bit on the England side. So the half times are 5 minutes. So again, Jana, for those of us who've played and coached the tens on the women's side and the field on the men's side, there's usually a little more time at the halftime to kind of hydrate and talk to your team and figure things out. But 5 minutes isn't a lot of time.
Well, I mean, you're going from 2 minutes to 5 minutes, so you're making those quick adjustments. You're not getting an entire game plan change, is what I would say, Dave. But you're already, if I were England, I'm probably having the conversation that's tighten up defensively, be able to see your players, see the ball, and understand where those cuts are coming from and where the player's getting open. You don't want to make that low to high slide for the draw and dump. That's really leaving the player open right on top of Katie Greenwood as the goalie. Dave, what do you think Scotland is having the conversation about right now? What adjustments do you think that they're making, if any?
Yeah, I think they know they need to clean up the stick work. I think that they've been let down a few times from some drop balls and some balls that have just gone out of bounds errantly. So I think they're certainly talking about that. I think they're going to be pretty happy with that first half, especially in the latter part of it where they really had some momentum for a good stretch. Not forcing timeouts on the England side, but England felt like that, hey, let's fix this now instead of continuing on whatever was broken. Not that it was badly broken. Not insinuating
not
that,
badly,
but just adjustments needed to be made.
I think they went on a 3-goal run at one point, which in this type of format has the potential to be a game changer. You're not going to get a lot of opportunities because it is a goal and then the goalie clearing it to their own team. You're not going to get a lot of opportunities unless you cause that turnover to really make that opportunity so you can go on a couple of goals at the same time. And that's going to be a piece that is really going to become something that the coaches are going to want to make sure they're paying close attention to. You're not going to get those opportunities to go on a number of straight goal runs in your favor.
Okay, so we're about to come out for the second half of the first match of the Home Nation Sixes tournament here in Edinburgh, Scotland. We have England women's versus Scotland women. So, Jenna, we're playing at a place called the Peffermill Playing Fields at the base of Arthur's Seat in Edinburgh, Scotland. I just think it's one of the great places to play lacrosse. The pitches are in perfect condition because of COVID, I suppose. They haven't been heavily used, but the groundskeepers here do an amazing job. It's just a great venue.
It really is, and it's a beautiful day here in Scotland, too. I heard, I think when you told me about this, you said dress in layers, and I've got shorts and a T-shirt on, so I'm not sure what layers you're talking about.
Well, they say in Scotland, wait 5 minutes. Okay, here we go. First draw of the second half. Charlie Bergquist in pursuit.
Different draw taker here for England. Number 16, India, came in. And a turnover. You see Tors Anderson just ripping that shot. What a great goal. I don't even know if the goalie saw it go in there. She shot it so quickly. England continuing with the ride and the pressure here. Let's see how this starts to play out, especially as you get into the third and fourth, end of the third, beginning of the fourth quarter. You're gonna start to get an understanding of the legs and the condition that the players are in.
Jen, it occurs to me, I don't think a player's been sent off yet, other than the Liv Wimpany shot. I mean, nobody's been in the sin bin. It's one of the big changes on the women's side. If you have a major foul, then you must serve time in the sin bin, and you're off the field.
Katie Greenwood with a fantastic save there. Alex Drew going to clean this up. England's probably going to get in here and settle, and I would suspect that you might see England go on a 2 or 3 goal run here. Just try to put a couple of points, create some distance. And what you can see, by the way, if you're watching here, Scotland's player is sitting right there, baiting Tors to take that shot, because it would be a red card for Tors for Tors Anderson if she hits her. So she is opting not to push up, not to get on the on-ball defense here, and is sitting and waiting to see if she takes that shot and gets that foul.
So that was an over and back for Scotland. So once the ball passes the midfield line, it cannot go back again, or it's a turnover, and that's actually how England ended up with the ball there.
Mm-hmm. And that's going to be pretty close to what the basketball rules, right, as you're taking the ball down the court here. You can see probably some of the rules have been drawn from a number of different sports as well. You'll see some of the adjustments as well as World Lacrosse continues to make some of these adjustments. And I think one of the pieces we'll end up talking about here is What adjustments, Dave, do you see coming, if any, and how do you think some of the coaches are going to begin to change tactics as sixes continues to grow in popularity?
England looking a little more confident right now, just in the way they're moving the ball and the way they're moving their bodies. I think they're maybe starting to get into the swing of the tournament a little bit.
Yeah, you get some of those first game, post-COVID jitters out.
So a long clear from Emma Walkup does not connect, goes out of bounds. Jenny Eaton's going to step up on Katie Greenwood here and pressurize.
And that's something that Scotland has continued to do, is they're definitely putting pressure on the goalie. Going to see how England starts to convert.
So it's currently 12-8 to England, Scotland's ball. On a shot now, as opposed to the 10s, if the shot goes out of bounds, it is a turnover in the 10s game. It's whoever is closest to the ball, so it's a big change in the game.
Oh, nice save from Katie Greenwood there. And just to confirm, there's the pressure of the goalie paying off a little bit, even though it did go out of bounds. It's going to be interesting to see how the goalies start to make some of these moves.
Well, this tactic of leaving Jenny Eaton up by the goalie, when they're on defense, when Scotland's on defense, kind of has twofold value, because when they're on attack, she stays and can pressurize the goalie, and then she stays and hasn't been effective in baiting an England attacker to drop back on her. They're happy to have Katie Greenwood mark her. It's a bit of a dangerous tactic, isn't it? Because if Jenny's able to break away from the goalie and receive the clear.
And we've seen that a couple of times where they have converted that goal. So England's making the choice here to leave her open and have Katie Greenwood mark her, which in some cases is leaving a wide open goal.
About 3.5 minutes left in the third quarter. England 12, Scotland 8. Scotland with the ball, Georgia Greenwood. .18 seconds on the shot clock. Bounce shot from Hannah Whiteley there.
And I think one of the decisions that you have to make is, how are you playing defense? How are you standing up and really, are you going to put that pressure on? Are you going to get on body and really get some of these knockdowns? Or are you going to sag into the defensive end a little bit and allow some of these momentum changes to happen? With the long clear there again.
Boy, that's a replay of an earlier clear that went out of bounds in exactly the same spot.
I wonder if that's something they're going to keep trying, or if she just happens to think that side is open.
Yeah. One of the big differences is the goalie play in sixes, and I'm thinking of it a little bit as if the goalie is the quarterback, that they're looking to pass short, pass middle, pass long, and have real effect. In other words, a goalie assist is going to be a very common thing now.
Scotland just got a great knockdown right in front of the goal, and I think that's going to be another piece, is the defenders that are sitting there. You're going to have to see sticks up a lot more. That ball is going to come in and come in quick, and so the sticks up approach, which Scotland just did to get that turnover, is going to be impactful.
So we have England 12, Scotland 9. England in possession. Less than 30 seconds left in the third quarter. Misspoke. We're coming up on a minute left in the third quarter.
Drew's letting her know it's England ball, not Scotland ball.
Oh.
Ooh.
Had a look at the open goal, didn't connect.
I think that's something that's going to have to change, right? The attackers who see the open goal, you're going to have to put it in the back of the net there. You're not going to have a lot of opportunities to have wide open goals and not convert that.
So it's a timeout to Scotland just now. 12-9 to Scotland. Again, it's gotten a little sloppy again, and so I think, especially from the Scotland side, they've got to find that momentum again. And off the timeout in the first half, they actually found that momentum off the timeout. So it's a good call from Coach Ilse to stop there.
Now she calls this timeout. What do you think she's reviewing with them? Not just to clean it up, but what do you think she's saying? Is she addressing the attack? Do you think she's addressing the goalie clears and some of the turnovers and the missed opportunities that they've had? What do you think's going on in that?
Well, it seems to me most of the breakdowns were, on the defensive side. England was just getting too much space. What I think England figured out is the quick, compact ball movement. They weren't doing big swings around the outside. It was just like boom, boom, boom. And it's always been my belief that, your best opportunity is 2 passes away. Yeah. And so England seemed to be doing that. So I think they do need to adjust to that. You're right.
Yeah, and you like you said, you definitely saw the adjustment from England where they started out with 2, 3, 4 passes, trying to get everybody a touch is what it looked like, and then making the adjustment into going 1 or 2 and getting that quick feed inside.
Just want to comment on that goal by Chess Grages then. So she did one of her sort of classic crease roll moves because she's traditionally a crease attacker. She just did it from above GLE.
I don't know if you can hear everybody yelling, but there's about 7 seconds left here on the clock. 6. Beautiful save by Katie Greenwood. Great shot, though. It looked like it was a little bit off angle. And again, you're definitely going to see more of these shots that are off angle, outside of what normally a 10 shooter would take. The opportunities are really going to adjust, and the shooters are going to have to say, am I taking that movement? Am I doing a dodge? Am I trying to get underneath? Am I making that crease roll? What does this look like?
Yeah, 12-10 to England here as we're on the third quarter break. I think Scotland probably wishes there was more quarter left after their timeout because they really did turn around the momentum there. And we'll see if after another break here whether they can carry on. It's a close match. It's well. I'm not sure it's well played. I think we used to call it knocking the travel off the sticks, knocking the rust off the sticks. I think the quality of play is going to improve over the day. But certainly the pace of the game is exciting, and there have been some very good goals scored and some very good saves on the parts of the goalies.
And you mentioned pace. I think that's probably something we should touch on here. Pace is going to change as from 10s to 6s. For those watching, there are less fouls being called. The fouls are, and I don't mean less in terms of it's a different refereeing type. The game is quicker. The game is adjusting to teams figuring out what that pace looks like. The rules have changed. The way that sorry about that. The rules have changed. The way that the teams are going to start to execute and what they do and don't take advantage of is going to adjust as well.
Okay, just wrapping up the timeout between quarters. England seemed to like to come out early.
Yes,
the pitch. Scotland had more to say. Extend the meeting a little bit.
Well, they want to get in there, settle in, and England Lions really establishing themselves here. They're going to be a really solid team, and the idea being, you see some of these veteran players, they know how to make these moves work and what these moves are going to look like, how everybody's going to play with each other. So that's going to be really solid adjustments, especially as the Sixes games continue to grow. Alex Drew taking it up. Or no, that wasn't Alex Drew.
India Chadwick on the draw. Yeah.
That was Alex Drew with the wide shot there.
So Emma Walkup electing for the shorter clear this time to Georgia Greenwood, who's running it up.
Seems to be a little bit of an adjustment. And what you just see there is the idea that you've got to really pay attention, because if you make that pass, right, where she was looking, nice, where she was looking, it had the potential to be an over and back. And so players are really going to have to adjust into making sure when they make that they know where that pass is.
That was a terrific play. A missed shot. Charlie Berquist was able to catch the missed shot behind the goal and then feed Hannah Grant on the cut. 12-11 to England. So Scotland have brought the momentum with them into the fourth quarter.
That had the opportunity to be a really beautiful goal. I think you're going to have to make sure it's a pass and not so much of a push. Good decision there to kind of maintain control and pull the ball out. But Scotland really holding firm, not chasing everybody out there, and England just taking advantage of that movement right there. The long pass coming out again.
There is open
Katie
goal.
Greenwood. Yep.
The tactic worked.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's the risk England are taking there. If Jenny is able to create some separation from the goalie and they can connect that long pass.
Exactly what we were talking about. If you've got an open cage, you're going to have to convert. That was a big goal for Scotland, coming in 13-11 now with 6 minutes left in the fourth. Good defense here by Emma Oakley. Just, and what you saw immediately, there you go. She gets that over and back. But what you saw was immediately the acknowledgement that player was back there and knowing that you can't leave the goalie in a one-on-one situation.
Well said. Emma Oakley read the danger and got back. And this is one of the decisions that, again, tactically has to be made, is you always on attack have to be thinking defense. Because when that turnover happens, the ball is going to move upfield so quickly. So you have to make sure your players are distributed in your attack in a way that you're ready to get back and play defense quickly and not get a fast break goal against.
Yeah, and you can see what you're seeing is Scotland really having two players low as defenders and making that choice to not bait out. They're really causing a disruption there for England as a team to not take those shots because, oh, what a beautiful shot. But to not take that low shot because you're shooting into a player. There's a potential card there, and you can't afford that.
So interesting shift in tactic there, I think, on that goal. England was kind of trying to attack from the side, sort of attacking from GLE and just running into wall, stop, and then they swung it up top, and then that's where the space was.
Emma Oakley had just a beautiful power shot, looked like a riser that she just put right in the top of the net there. England calling a timeout, 14-12 with 4.5 here in the fourth. Now that Scotland is really kind of settling into defense, what do you think that they're going to make adjustments on from an attacking perspective here?
I think the recent goals have been more off the fast breaky kinds of things, and I think they are exploiting behind a little bit more, which again is just one of those things. If you put an attacker behind, she's not available to go play defense, and so it's a bit risky in that regard, but it does open up your angles of attack so much. So I think Scotland was able to kind of do that in a dynamic way, whereas in the 10s format maybe you'll more have somebody camped back there at X, but they're using it a little more dynamically, I think. And
that brings up a really interesting point. Does the X player get removed in sixes?
How do you mean removed?
Are they as valuable? Are they a feeder from behind? Are they? What is the ball movement? Are you moving the ball through X as much, or are you keeping it up top?
I think it's an individual tactical decision from coaches. I think it's based on your personnel. From what I'm seeing, I haven't seen anybody really featuring crease play dramatically, other than like I'm seeing a lot of sort of upcut goals from X, not so much sort of standing and feeding. So it'll be interesting to see how that evolves as players and coaches get to know the game more.
And that was Alex Drew with her signature spin move, just putting it right in the back of the net. She is a force. When she makes that move, her goal, she's going to goal. Oh, Scotland.
Hannah Whiteley to Suze Oliphant on a terrific finish.
And we're definitely going to see, I think, and I'm not going to lie to you, I'm going to wander down and talk to Phil and tell him about it. But I think you are going to see here a defensive adjustment at some point from England. It's got to occur in the fact that when that ball is moving and how it moves, right, you're going to have to make some of these active decisions. Are you pressuring out or are you holding? And are we getting behind? Is England getting behind the play quick enough?
So Chescray picked up the ground ball. Suze Oliphant trying to find space to goal.
Scotland's really taking advantage of the fact that England isn't in position as quickly as Scotland seems to be getting down into defensive position.
5 seconds on the shot clock. And there's the horn for the shot clock, so that's a turnover. So we'll see what Scotland do on this defensive possession. Oh, well, actually,
and there she
Jenny
is.
Ayton has just come onto the pitch. When she wasn't on the pitch, Scotland were happy to do a box-and-one zone defense. And with her on the pitch, it's more of just a box defense.
Yep.
But England were able to pick apart, I thought, the box and one. So
a little bit better, yeah.
Yeah, going back to this look is probably a good move for Scotland.
And those feeds, what you're seeing is England is recognizing that the feed from the top has to occur, and Katie Greenwood again in a situation of a 1v1 with that cherry pick down there, and so I think that's going to be it's going to be an adjustment. It's 16-13 England with about 2:15 left in the fourth. So England is really making a conscious decision here to say, hey, we're going to score more than we're going to let cherry pick. And you could see Emma Brown getting back on defense. What a great defensive move by Emma Brown there. Let's see if, beautiful shot.
16-15. It's getting exciting here with just 2 minutes left. England in possession.
It's going to be Scotland's ball here with about 1:45 left, and we're going to see how Scotland pushes this and pushes the move here. Scotland's looking for that feed, and got a bit of a yard sale for those listening, and if this is your first time, a yard sale is just a kind of a fantastic moment, I think, mainly defensively when you check a stick and it comes right out of the player's hands. Alex Drew maintaining possession.
All right, England up a goal with possession.
And that right there, what you just saw is it's a move from tens, not a sixes, not a sixes rule. She could have gone over, but
she thought it was a restrainer.
She definitely did, and she
and both players did.
And what you heard is Scotland yelling from the sideline to go get it. But both players stopped and said, "Well, what do we do now?"
That was Caroline Getley. Georgia Greenwood.
Oh, great save by Katie Greenwood right there, and it's going to be a race, a foot race. Scotland coming up with it.
Yep. Caroline Getley, we've got 30 seconds left, about a 30-second shot clock. Scotland have a chance to tie here. Suze Oliphant. Caroline Getley, the ball's gone to ground. England possession with 20 seconds left. Timeout to England. So Phil wants to talk about the last 11 or 12 seconds of this game. What are we going to do? Well, we're going to stall.
we're going to stall for 11 seconds. That's that conversation.
England's goal would be to not have Scotland get it back. So Scotland is certainly talking about how they're going to pressurize ball. Mm-hmm. And now in some scenarios, the goalie would come out and
would you pull the goalie here?
Yeah, and said that an extra defender. However, in the new Sixes rules, the goalie position is not allowed to go past the midfield line. So we don't get the advantage of doing that any longer.
So those are just some of the tactics that are going to change and adjust, right? That conversation that Phil had was definitely hold the ball. If you're making a pass, it's got to be a beautiful pass, wide open, clean, and how you're going to work that. You see Tors Anderson, number one here, getting the ball, and what is this going to look like? Is she going to move the ball around, or is she just going to run into a corner and hold it for 11 seconds?
Scotland have stepped two players up already to double team, and Tors has broken the double and took a shot for the goal.
Wide open net there.
Just seconds away. There's the final horn. Well, terrific match. England 17, Scotland 15 is your final.
Probably, and it was a closer game than I think people were anticipating, but a good game to start with. Get those nerves out. See the game for some of the players that haven't played it, even though we just had the fly. But it will clear everything up and provide Wales, who is watching, an opportunity to say, okay, what does this strategy look like, and how do we move the ball, and what do we do differently, and what do we try to steal with pride?
For those who are unfamiliar with international lacrosse, this is a nice tradition of international lacrosse. The teams meet in the middle after the pitch. The captain says a few words to the other team. Thanks for playing. Great match. And then they will shake hands and do a kind of line dance, I suppose. But it's one of the great traditions that we always sort of end on a friendly note, you hope.
And most of these players, they have played together before. Some of them, and we didn't touch on it this time, but we probably will. Some of them play on club teams together. Some of them play on university teams together. So, we're playing with teams where they know the players.